Mayan Buntag, and welcome to another exciting episode of my Philippine adventure. I am Mike, I'm your American tour guide, and Yna is in the Philippines still for the next few days. Well, next 10 days or so. What's the date today? She comes over the 18th. So I thought I'd go over what does it cost to fly to the Philippines, the whole trip. Let's go over everything I spent this trip, and I will say right off the top that I did spend a little bit more than I normally do because normally I'm pretty cheap, frugal, and we stay at, a little less expensive hotels. And this time we actually spent, and plus we spent a lot of time in Manila, and I will say the hotels were much more expensive in Manila. So I spent a little bit more than I normally do, but let's go over it. And so if you're planning a trip to the Philippines, this is kind of what you can expect. Now also, this will include my flight, round trip, and remember I'm paying for 2 people, not the flight, but when I'm there it's double the food, and then expenses for 2 people. And a couple extravagances that we did that I normally don't do, which added to the price of the trip, but still not too bad. So, my flight, hold on, she's texting me. She's going to bring some synagogue. You know what synagogue is? It's the most delicious soup. It's basically their chicken noodle soup. It's their standard soup in the Philippines. They got pork or fish, different flavored synagogues. And it's kind of a lemony soup with a little bit of cabbage and some meat, and eat it with rice, and it's delicious. And she has to make that when she comes here to the States, so she's going to bring some powdered mix. Okay, our flight. My flight round trip it's about average price, about $900 it cost for me. I think it was $600 and something to fly from LA to Manila round trip, and then I booked a separate flight from Detroit to LA, which cost about $300 round trip. So let's say it's a little bit less than $1,000. It was $900 something, so $900 for the flight. Now I brought $2,500 cash with me because I wasn't sure if I'd have to buy her a ticket because we were going to Manila to go to her visa. So I brought $2,500 in cash. I brought home $900, I think. I brought home $900 in cash. So I went through like $1,600, but that's not normal because I left her with a couple $100 cash because she needed to travel after I left. But there was more because I put a lot of my hotels on credit cards. So I stayed from the 11th to the 28th. First 5 days I spent at the city-state in Manila. I would recommend that you stay on that part of Manila. If you're going for your embassy, it's closer to the embassy and the hotels are cheaper. And it's a safe place. It was all right. It wasn't real the prettiest area to stay in, but it was real close to St. Luke's, which you'll need for your medical, and it was close to the embassy. So we spent 5 days there. I think it will cost us like $200. It was like $40 a night. I put that on my credit card. That didn't come out of the $2,500 that I brought with me. $210 or something like that. So pretty good, nice size room. Go back and watch some of the videos. Probably one of the best deals while we were traveling this trip. That didn't include breakfast, so there was food every day. I had to give her a couple thousand pesos to do something at St. Luke's for a fee for a medical thing, besides the money for the exam, which is something else. I'm trying to think if we spent any big money there. Really didn't. We just kind of killed time until we went to the embassy. And the next day after that, we went down, and that was, I don't know, 1,000 pesos, 1,900 pesos? I don't know, I forget what it was. But we took a bus and a ferry. So we took a bus from Manila down to Batangas. And then from Batangas, we hopped on a ferry to Puerto Galera. And it was a one-way per person, so we paid that cash, or pesos. And then we went there, we stayed at the Nirvana Resort for 3 nights. And I said that wrong in the review. In the review, I said it was like something like $40 a night. No. It was $220 for 3 nights. So it was closer to, it was like $70 a night. But I tell you what, and that's why I said we stayed in nicer places than we normally do. Normally I try to, I'm kind of cheap. I'm a cheapskate. But that was a beautiful place, and it was worth every penny of it. And then from there, we went to La Laguna Luxury Resorts, and I think that was like $75 for that night. And then we had to take a water taxi to the ferry. We had to pay for the ferry, and then from the ferry we went back up to Manila. There was fees and all that. I don't know what they were. They came out of my $2,500 pesos, or no, $2,500. When I first got there, I exchanged $1,000, and that lasted us most of the trip. And then towards the end, I exchanged another $400. So the only thing I exchanged out of that $2,500 is I exchanged $1,400 into pesos. Okay. Then we went to Manila. Well, I didn't talk about this. This is not in any of our videos, but we stayed at this condo, and it was kind of a nightmare. And it was just like a little studio condo right next to the Mall of Asia in Manila. I didn't do a video on it because it was kind of boring. There was nothing going on. It had a huge 5 swimming pools down there, but you had to pay to go to the swimming pools, even though it was part of the resort. It wasn't a resort. It was a condo that people rent out as apartments. So the next night we went to the Hotel 101, which was about $82. That was pretty expensive, but that was a nice little room. I like that place. Then we took a taxi, mind you, all the way to Tagaytay, all the way down to the very bottom to Taal Lake. And she got mad at me because I spent 3,500 pesos on that. So there was $70 right there just for the taxi ride. We stayed a couple days at the San Roque Resort there. We climbed to the top of the volcano. I think that was 1,000 or 1,500 pesos for the boat ride and everything. So there was more, and it was like about $35 a night at the San Roque. And then of course you had to buy food and breakfast, and that's not included. So that all comes out of the pesos. Then we went to the Lee Hotel back in Tagaytay. Stayed one night there. I think it was about $60. I think we paid for that. I was wondering if I would tell you about that. So in the video I said, we're going to take you to this really interesting little hotel, and we didn't end up staying there. And it's probably a whole nother video, but I'm fighting with Agoda right now. That's the website where you book hotel rooms. It was made out of shipping containers. It was called the Eco Tourist Hotel. It was all these shipping containers. I thought, this is going to be cool. It's going to be interesting. It's going to make a great video. And we got there, and it was kind of pricey, I thought, but I thought I was willing to pay for that for the experience. And there's one thing I can't stand. I can't stand in the Philippines is when you walk into a hotel room and it smells like mold. And it's pretty common. It's because they'll wash the sheets and they'll hang them up, and they never completely dry since it's so humid, and then they'll put them in your room and you make your bed, and you get that kind of wet fabric and it turns into that mold smell. I cannot stand it. I'll walk into a room and I'll turn around and say, nope, I can't stay here. I can't stand this smell. It messes with my asthma. So she showed me another place. I said, no, this smells the same, but it smells like you guys sprayed some perfume before I got in. And because I was getting kind of irate, so they're trying to show me other rooms, but they all smelled the same. And I said, well, I'm just going to cancel. And they said, no, you can't. It's non-refundable. So I'm still fighting with Agoda about that. Non-refundable. You know, when you get there and it's crap, you should be able to get your money back. Anyway, so that's a whole other rant. Maybe I'll make a video on that. And then we spent the last days at this place called the Hop Inn, and I think that was about $100. It was about $50 a night. So, okay, so that's what I'm saying. Out of the $1,400 cash that I exchanged to pesos, the stuff that I didn't pay for cash was $900 for the flight, and I spent $714 on hotels on my credit card. So that was $1,600, and I spent the $1,400. We're at like $3,000. So now that included, like I said, when we got taken by the horse and buggy ride, that was what, 3,800 pesos, something like that. 3,500 to go down the taxi. These are like extravagant things. I think that I spend more than I needed to. You don't have to do this. There's ways that you can get by a lot cheaper. This is my 5th time. This is the most money I've ever spent on a trip. Because I was treating myself to nicer resorts and whatnot. So it depends on what if you can sleep at like mom and pop places, not 5-star places. You can get hotels for anywhere from $15 to $35, but we were spending on average $50 to $70, so it adds up. Plus, I was paying for 2, her and me, and I left her with all the leftover pesos I gave her, and because I knew she had to do some traveling and do a bunch of stuff after I left to get back to fly out, I gave her $200 in cash that she had to exchange. So that $200 I didn't add to the total, but the extra pesos that were left over I gave to her. So we're looking at, now like I said, $3,000 is what this trip cost this time. Food, traveling, it's just like I said, it would be so much better if I could just go get a hotel or like an apartment or someplace where I could stay a month, or I know people go for like 3 months at a time. I don't know, and sometimes they stay with the in-laws or whatever. But if I could just rent a hotel for 3 months, you pay $200 a month or something for like an apartment. You spend $600 for 3 months, and then your expenses are going to go way down. It's all the, and then the traveling to do. If you're going to go sightseeing, it's going to cost you more money because you're always packing up, you're always jumping on a trike, a bus, a plane, a ferry, a jeepney, some type of transportation which costs money, and so it adds up. So I would say $3,000 is more than enough to go and have a really good time. That includes your airfare. So there you have it. And I stayed for 17 days, so I didn't do the math. It would be 17, it would be 224. Excuse me while I do some math. I'm not even using a calculator. 224, okay, so that'd be... Exciting. 200, was that $230 a day? About, yeah, a couple $100 a day. I know you can do it on much less. I know you can do it on much less, and you can probably do it on, that includes the flight too. So anyway, I just wasted a minute of your time doing math. It didn't work. So yeah, if you take the flight off, $900 would be $2,100. I was there for 17 days. Yeah, you figure less than $200 a day. That's 2 people, and that's living pretty large. So I'm sure you can cut that in half. But like I said, say $2,500 to $3,000, including your flight. You can spend about 3 weeks in the Philippines comfortably. So, well, thanks for sticking with me on this one. I know it wasn't the most exciting, but hopefully, if you're a newbie and you have a few questions, this will answer how much it costs to fly to the Philippines. So you know the routine: like, share, subscribe. Thumbs up or thumbs down. There's one guy, I think, he just waits for me to post a new video. The first thing he does is put a thumbs down, but what he doesn't realize is I don't care. It doesn't hurt me at all. So anyway, thumbs up or thumbs down. If you didn't like it, if you didn't like it. Stay cool.